Hello class, today is Monday, January 11th, 2021. So this week we're going to be studying at home again, and we will continue to work with fractions this week, and we will learn how to convert fractions and compare fractions this week. But first, let's review what did we learn about fractions last week, and how do we convert fractions using multiplication. So last week, we looked at how to convert fractions with multiplication to find equivalent fractions. Equivalent means equals or the same. So here we have 1/2. 1/2. So 1/2. How do we find an equivalent fraction? How do we convert it to make an equivalent fraction? What do we have to do? Well, we can use multiplication. Do we remember? We can use multiplication. We can say times 2. If we times 2, we have to times 2 to the numerator and the denominator. We have to use multiplication for the numerator and the denominator, right? So if we times 2 to the numerator, we have to times 2 to the denominator. So let's find an equivalent fraction. What do we get? 2 times 1 equals 2. And then on the bottom, the denominator, 2 times 2 equals 4. So 1/2 is the same as 2/4. 1/2 is equal to the same as 2/4. Let's try another one. 2/3 is equal to, what is it equal to? Let's try to find an equivalent fraction. Let's do times 2 again. Times 2. Oops, sorry. Let me erase that. Write that better. Times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 equals 4. And then 3 times 2 is equal to 6. So 2/3 is the same as 4/6. 2/3 is the same as 4/6. So we can also do different numbers. We don't always have to do times 2, times 3. We can do times 4, times 5, times 6, times 7. You can multiply by any number, but whatever you do to the numerator, you have to do to the denominator. So let's try another one. Let's try 3/5. And we want to find an equivalent fraction for 3/5. What can we do? Let's try times 4. Times 4. So, what do we get? 3 times 4 is 12. 5 times 4 is 20. So 3/5 is the same as 12/20. 3/5 is the same as 12/20. So we can say these are equivalent, 3/5 and 12/20. So let's try this again. We can try a different number. So let's try 4/7 is equal to, let's try times, we can do times 5 this time. Times 5, times 5. And 4 times 5 equals 20. 7 times 5 equals 35. So these fractions are the same. 4/7 is the same as 20/35. 4/7 is the same as 20/35. So these are all equivalent fractions when we multiply the top number and the bottom number by the same multiple. We have to times it by the same number. always by the same number. Okay, let's take a look at our classwork from last week that we want to review. Let's turn our books to page 70. Page 70. Page 70. So I asked you for classwork to do 6, 7, and 8, right? 6, 7, 8. So let's review it now. Let's take a look at number 6. Number 6. I asked you to do it for homework, number 6. So we see 11 twelfths. 11 twelfths is equal to something over 72. Something over 72. So, what times 12 equals 72? What times 12 equals 72? What do we get? 12 times what equals 72? 12 times what equals 72? 12 times 6 equals 72. So if we multiply the bottom, we have to multiply the top. So we also do 11 times 6. So 12 times 6 is equal to 72. 11 times 6 is equal to 66. So the next one, 8 fifteenths is equal to something over 90. 8 fifteenths is equal to blank over 90. So 15 times what equals 90? Let's take a look. 15 times what equals 90? We can just divide. 90 divided by 15 equals, what does it equal? 6. You're right. 90 divided by 15 equals 6. So 15 times 6 is equal to 90. Very good. So if we multiply the bottom, we have to multiply the top as well. So 8 times 6. So 15 times 6 equals 90. 8 times 6 is equal to 48. Very good. If you wrote that down. Very good if you wrote that down. Okay. So, next one, number 8. 17 over 20ths. 17 20ths. 17 20ths is equal to blank over 100. Blank over 100. So, 20 times what equals 100? 20 times what equals 100? So, let's take a look. 20 times what equals 100? We can just divide. 100 divided by 20 is equal to, very good, it's 5. So 20 times 5 is equal to 100. So 17 times what? Right? So we have to do 17 times 5 as well. If we multiply the bottom by 5, we have to multiply the top by 5. Always do the same number when we multiply or anything else to make it equal. So 20 times 5 is equal to 100. 17 times 5 is equal to, let's try it ourselves. 17 times 5 is equal to, very good, 85. So these are equivalent fractions. 17 over 20ths, 17 20ths is equal to 85 100ths. 85 100ths. So that's very good. So we checked number 6, number 7, number 8. Make sure you have the correct answers for number 6, number 7, and number 8.